Bang. We're recording.
No! Shit!
Oh
2
my
weeks
god.
in a row.
Oh my god. Well, 2 weeks in a row makes it a thing. That's fine. Even if it doesn't happen next week, it was still a thing.
Well, you asked me to do it again, so I dug on deep and yeah. So I'm sorry to anyone who just started listening and heard me do that. I'm still probably gonna end up doing it again next week. So just turn that shit down right out of the gate. Like if I haven't blown out your speakers yet, get ready.
Brandon Chalmers, we have an announcement.
Jamie Noguchi, please do go on.
Okay, hold on. You can tell even though we have an announcement, I'm so fucking prepared. I just got to make sure I get the right website before I start promoting something that we are not, because I can spell. All right, Brandon Chalmers.
Yeah.
Somehow, magically.
Yes.
The fucking Do It cast has joined the Hard Knock Media group.
You know what, Jamie Noguchi?
Podcast Network.
I don't have wires on these earphones, so I can do this. I'm getting up from my desk. Fucking victory dance. That's right.
Woo! So
Way
that's
the distance coming on back. God damn.
That's right. We are part of the Hard Knock Media Podcasting Network. If you go to
Suck a dick, non-existent Super Art Fight podcast. That's right. That's right. Moving on up.
If you visit hardknockmedia.com, and that's N-O-C. Knock is spelled N-O-C. So Hard Knock
as in
Nerds of Color. So
there it is.
hardknockmedia.com. You will see in the bottom lower right-hand corner the fucking Do It cast banner. We have a portal page there. You can listen to our show at the website. I'm going to be flashing all sorts of banners on the YouTube. Nice. Like we'll have like a Hard Knock Media banner at the bottom of the show that'll always be up, so you'll always see the site, and we'll promote our network.
It's gonna be great because I'm gonna be confusing the fuck out of all of my low-key racist white friends and be like, the fuck are you doing on the thing? And I'll be like, look, honestly, I don't know, but just feel free to unfriend me now, because if you haven't done it yet, I think you're just being courteous. So just if you could.
We just tell them that we're intersectional as fuck. Intersectional.
No, that's fine. They're probably going to be really confused that that's not a sexual preference thing, but that's totally fine too. Like honestly, I'm just going to let their minds wander.
Yeah. So this is cool. It's I'm gonna take a listen to some of the other shows on the podcast network and promote them and stuff. But like, I'm excited. I've never been part of a podcasting network, so this is fucking cool.
Yeah. So I guess this means we never have an excuse to miss a week if that's the goal. Now we feel beholden to other people, Jamie.
Yeah.
This is what's happened now.
Yeah. And I think we're on iTunes now.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I submitted us to iTunes.
Be sure to follow along, subscribe, and rate us with 5 stars, because my understanding is that's how iTunes podcasts work. Be sure you can find us on Stitcher, iTunes, Podcast Radio, and wherever you find the fine podcasts near you. It's the Hard Knock Podcast Network, NOC, as in Nerds of Color, as in really not fucking me. That's
Hard Knock Media. Hard Knock Media. Hard Knock Media. Pop culture with a different perspective.
There you go. I'd also like to thank Hard Knock Media for grandfathering me in, because I was joking around with Keith of Nerds of Color that I understand I don't fucking belong here. So I ask that you greet me with a gentle hand and if I do overstep, please slap me the fuck down with the just violence that I deserve. So it's greatly appreciated to be part of the crew.
I wonder if there are meetups and stuff.
I don't know, but if for the dozens and dozens of the fucking Do It Cast listeners, if you'd like to do a meetup, fucking let us know, because I'm all about that. We can go get like Rita's or something, and we'll, it'll be my treat. It'll be something.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's right.
So congratulations to both of us. If we get...
That's right. Victory laps. There it is. Patting myself on the back.
Even if we get kicked...
What I need right now, Jamie,
yeah,
as a dude, is just, to feel better about myself is really what it comes down to. Just, the world's an oyster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if we get kicked off like the next month, we still made it. We still made it. We're part of a network.
Can't take that from us. Just all of the other podcasts on the network would be like, what the fuck is wrong with the two of these assholes?
Yeah.
You need to get them off with the quickness.
Yeah. But we made it. We made it. We made it. Yeah. So I'm calling it a win, even if it's a Pyrrhic victory. I'm calling it a win. Nonsense,
Jamie. We made it. From the bottom to the top. That's how this works.
I mean, I'm like ridiculously excited. I'm gonna ask Keith if we can get shirts and hats and like stickers and just like
yes. Yeah. I'm gonna end up walking around like some sort of tourist or something like that. It's gonna be great. Great.
All right, Brandon Chalmers. It's a new week. It's a new month. What have you been geeking on?
So I have been getting drawn into something that, because of the upcoming movie that's about to happen on HBO, because now we are in a post Game of Thrones HBO.
Sure.
So now they are like every other sad, nerdy motherfucker, and they're like, remember the thing that you really loved? We're making the thing. So there's a Deadwood movie coming out.
Oh.
And for those of you who have not followed along, Deadwood is a show set in the Old West that ended kind of prematurely and left fans wanting more. And honestly, like, there are a lot of characters in that show that you could hate. There's a lot of characters you can really love. Ironically, it is not the best. It is equally a timepiece and also trying to be realistic with a lot of things. So as far as the Nerds of Color relation to everything, it's probably not the best example. But I will say, I think it's Anne McShane says cocksucker better than anyone, maybe ever. With just the elegance of a Patrick Stewart and the fire of a Chris Walken mid-grumble. Like, just, I don't know what to do with that, but
that sounds awesome.
I've been watching it back. It's on Amazon Prime. It's included with your Prime subscription.
Cool.
Are an Amazon Prime user. Also, a lot of old HBO shows are included with that. So if you haven't actually jumped on that bandwagon, like you're just looking for background stuff, you can watch The Wire start to finish, or Rome, or Deadwood, or some of the other stuff, and it's all included with your subscription. I would really highly suggest. I'm a huge fan of Amazon Prime's Video, because I figure they're stealing everything else from everybody else. I may as well try and enjoy something while I'm a terrible human. But yeah, so that they have some really good backlog HBO stuff, and also before HBO decides to like lower the price for HBO Go, because they're not going to have anybody to actually subscribe, and then they start getting actually competitive.
Yeah.
You should probably hop on that now while it's still included with your way too expensive Amazon Prime subscription. So do that shit. But yeah, it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's really good. There's a lot of FX actors and a lot of HBO actors. If you're a fan of something like maybe Sons of Anarchy or Justified, you'll recognize a lot of the actors there. So it's a lot of the same people there. Just recently, the wife of Walter White from Breaking Bad is in there as well. So, like, you're going to see a cast of people where you're like, oh, shit, that guy. Oh, shit, that lady. Like, so there's a lot of that. It's rare if you ever see anybody and you're like, I don't fucking recognize who that is.
Yeah.
Trust me, you'll realize it after about 3 episodes. You're like, that's the fucking guy from the thing. So
it's like early in their career. So like some of them might have been somewhat unknown at the time, but since Deadwood, they've gone on to bigger and brighter things.
Yeah. In most cases, or at the very least, they've done other character actor stuff where you've seen them in other things, and you're like, I remember you from yada yada, or I remember you from yada yada. So like, and usually they're all good character actors, so you get to kind of do this thing where you're like, I remember you from this. You were really good here, and then you get to see kind of where some of those character arcs came from. Like honestly, fucking Sons of Anarchy ape the fuck out of that entire cast, and also most of their character arcs. Like Kurt Sutter's a lazy fuck, honestly. Like I don't mind saying it. It just fucking really like wow.
You work with who you know, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. Like it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, you're a grizzled old fuck. Well, congratulations, you're still a grizzled old fuck. Like.
You get to play yet another grizzled old fuck.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? So you're a sassy sex worker? Congratulations. Guess who you're going to be in a biker gang? Like, God damn it. And here I was like a fucking mook, not seeing Deadwood when it came out, watching Sons of Anarchy going, this is actually pretty good sometimes. It's really not that bad. And then going back and be like, fucking lazy dick. Lazy dick.
That's funny.
Slog my way through Charlie Hunnam's shitty acting, thinking I'm actually watching something. That dude cannot act.
Ooh.
That dude cannot act.
I have a very soft spot for him because of Pacific Rim, but yes.
Get it? I get it. I have a soft spot for him because of Pacific Rim, and then I have a soft spot for him because of Sons of Anarchy, and then I watched that Netflix movie with like him and Oscar Isaac and like the dude from Four Brothers, weirdly enough, and like Ben Affleck, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I'll search for it in a second.
Okay.
It was like a one-off action movie where they're like all mercenaries, or they were all like military, and then Oscar Isaac is like a mercenary who is out of the military, and he hires all of them back to rob this drug lord in like Colombia or something like that.
Sounds familiar somehow.
Things take a turn because of course they do.
Sure. And
Charlie Hunnam like plays the brother of the dude who's in Four Brothers. I don't know if you're familiar with Four Brothers. That was the one with Mark Wahlberg and Andre 3000.
Yeah. I did see that one.
So,
yeah.
Right. So the dude who was like the strung out kind of rocker brother, he plays the badass MMA fighter, and then Charlie Hunnam is his like way too cool for school, doesn't deliver lines properly brother, where it's like, I promised him I wouldn't go back, so I'm not going to go back without my brother. And like fucking Oscar Isaac's like, Jesus fuck, fine, let's go get your dumb fuck brother. Let's go do the thing. Let's go support him as he beats the crap out of another dude in a ring, and then be like, hey, are you tired of making $1,500 punching people in the face? Let's go make a few $1 million. And he's like, what? Let's go do the thing. And Charlie Hunnam's like, I knew he'd do it. And it's just like, God damn it, Charlie Hunnam, you suck.
Is he British? Is Hunnam British?
Yes.
That might be why. Like they need to hire him to be British, because he's having problems with American.
Are you sure? Because I feel like that's one of those like they kicked him out.
That's possible.
Like, you're kind of a shit actor, but you're pretty as fuck. You should go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And he's like, that's right, I've got abs and a blonde beard. And it's like, God damn it, no. You just... Yeah. Anyway, so I watched Deadwood and tearing through that. So it hasn't necessarily been exciting because I've seen it before, but at the same time, it's one of those, like, I wanted to get myself up to speed for the movie. Mm-hmm. So that's been kind of what I've been tearing through. But more importantly, the takeaway from this is, if you don't want to watch an Old West fucking show, go check out Amazon Prime. There's a ton of old HBO shit, and you should really enjoy that because there is some really good stuff there.
That's awesome.
What about you, Jamie? What are you geeking out about?
Oh, fucking Godzilla. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
The kids sitting at home who are familiar with Super Art Fight will recognize a one Chris Scott or General Storm sketch. And we got a chance to, Jamie and I and Chris got a chance to all be at a party together last weekend, and I got a chance to watch the two of them geek out in real time, which watching Jamie with someone who he can really commiserate over something super nerdy, like Jamie and I don't that's the weird dynamic with you and I. We rarely nerd out over the same thing.
Sure.
So seeing you and Chris be like, dude, it's like it's a bonding experience I don't get to have with you very often. So like on the one hand, I was like, fucking Jamie's bonding with another dude, and it really makes me sad. On the other hand, I'm like, this is Shakespeare the way it's meant to be seen.
See, and that's the thing about this movie. I think you need to see it with someone who's excited to see this movie. Like, when we saw Pacific Rim, we were all in. We were in as soon as the title credits happened, because like in the very first scene before the movie even started, it said kaiju, giant, Japanese for giant fuck monster. And we were all in. And I feel like if you're in a theater where it's quiet and you have like cinephiles in there and people who are into like the art of filmmaking and stuff, it's not going to be the same experience.
No,
it's not going to be the same experience.
Nobody watches Bloodsport for the fucking plot. Like, God damn it. Just enjoy a thing for the thing.
And
it's like people who pick apart fucking plot points in Avengers movies. Like, stop it. You got the thing. Your nerdy ass, you got the thing you wanted.
Yeah.
My superhero dudes are live action. They look good because we all fucking watched that shitty fucking Fantastic Four movie. God knows whatever ago. We know what bad looks like.
Yeah.
We now have good. Stop it. Just enjoy the thing.
And I feel like Godzilla is one of those movies. Like in general, I feel like Godzilla as a franchise is one of those franchises. If you're watching it by yourself and you're not predisposed to like giant monsters in rubber suits, you're not gonna like it. But if you see it with somebody who's into that shit, you're gonna have a good time, because even if you don't like the movie, your friend is geeking out, and if you're a real friend, you're gonna fucking love that.
Right, yeah, you're going to enjoy the experience of it, and therefore you're going to enjoy it more. And even if it ends up not necessarily being your thing, which is totally fine, you can still appreciate the thing for the thing. And that's the whole idea of like fandom, I feel like.
I think so.
You got to watch these things with other people.
Yeah, it's not a solo experience unless you're way into it. Like, I will watch a Kamen Rider movie and I'll be into it, even if I'm picking it apart on Twitter. I'll be into it.
Right. No, I get that, but at the same time, I have no interest in watching Kamen Rider by myself, but you and I have watched Kamen Rider together, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah,
because we get to really pick it apart.
Oh yeah. Like you saw Old Man Hongo with his suit and shit. That was amazing. That movie was fantastic. But like, if you had watched that on your own,
but it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you watched that on your own, as soon as the movie started, you'd be like, well, why the fuck is he in Thailand?
Right. Honestly, of all the questions, that is probably lowest of the rung for me. Like, I am honestly not concerned about location scouting for where Old Man Hulk is. Like, I'm not really like. Yeah, I don't understand why the Beetle version of Old Man Logan is in Thailand. I'm not necessarily worried about that.
Yeah.
His weird relationship with teenagers, that's a concern for me. That's way later on.
But yeah, I loved it. A lot of my friends loved it. A lot of people I know online loved it. And I feel like if you want to enjoy that movie, go with them. Go with somebody who really is into it, because, you know, they'll start welling up when the Mothra theme happens. Like,
of course.
The original Mothra theme gets remixed, and you could tell like the people who made this movie have a great affinity for the original stuff. Like, it's made with such love for the source material. It's made with such care. They made Rodan look amazing. Rodan has never looked amazing. Like, no. Rodan has always looked like a mistake. Like, somebody didn't finish the suit, and, you know, the actor just kind of phones it in, because all Rodan can do is this, and
well, yeah, of course.
They made Rodan into a fucking fire god that does a barrel roll to knock planes out of the fucking sky.
Okay.
And if that doesn't sell you there, then you need to go with a friend who that sells it for. You know?
Yeah, really. Like, realistically, I think with this Godzilla movie, from an outside perspective, I think it's important to know what Godzilla is. I think it's important to understand the other monsters, but also go in with open arms and open eyes about this sort of thing.
Sure.
Like, it was funny to see you and Chris talking about everything, and then talking with other people, and then picking apart plot points, and the two of you being like, fuck you, get out of the kitchen, just leave, we do not need your kind of negativity. And it was almost the best example of, like, if there's a thing that you're real into, like you really want to see, don't read the reviews.
Yeah, sure. For sure.
Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't talk yourself out of a thing that you genuinely enjoy because somebody like I couldn't imagine being like a hardcore Transformers fan.
Oh yeah.
Right? And sitting through some of these Michael Bay movies, and some of them are like they're varying degrees of trash. I don't think any of them are necessarily good. The first one wasn't too bad. There are a lot of highlight points. I think just the fact that like you get to see big ass Optimus Prime with the right voice on the screen and it looks good.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. I can throw away all of the other part, like Megan Fox's weird thumbs and all sorts of weird shit. Like just like I can move away from all that stuff and go, yeah, you know what? That was pretty fucking cool. And like the last one was weird as fuck.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
But like in a weird way, I almost enjoyed Anthony Hopkins trying to Sherpa robots through some sort of weird King Arthur shit. Like it was so far past logical that I'm like, well, fuck it. This actually feels like a comic book for once. Like maybe not necessarily a good issue, but it's like, hey, so there's an old man, right? Yeah. And then he knows a girl, right? Yeah. And then he's got like some sort of weird connection to King Arthur. And this is where your brain should go hang the fuck on. And every comic book nerd's like, yeah. And then keeps going.
No domain.
And this is the right. Yeah. Like I need Jason Statham to just basically like if Jason Statham in that movie could have played Michael Pena's role from Ant-Man, where he just explains everything, just, all right, so we got this guy, right? You know what I mean? And then we got Hawkins, right? And then we got this girl, and then Mark Wahlberg's there, and then there's a thing, and then there's explosions, and then swords, and then and then you'd be like, all right,
Jason, I'm
Statham,
in.
let's do the thing. I'm in. Let's do this weird thing where you don't end up punching anybody in the face, and you end up being some sort of weird side role. Like I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that movie seemed like 3 separate movies.
Yeah,
all like shat into one.
Yeah.
Bumblebee was kind of good.
I heard that was true, and I haven't had a chance to watch it, and I really want to.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm a total John Cena mark, like admittedly.
He's great. I'm going to spoil one line because it's great. But the Decepticons introduce themselves, and he goes back to the base, and he's like, Don't you guys think there's something wrong? I mean, they're called Decepticons. It's in the name.
Thank you. Yeah, right.
And he delivers it in the John Cena way. And you're like, yeah, John Cena, that does seem stupid. Why are we trusting them?
Right. I love that it takes John Cena delivering the John Cena style line where you're like, you know what? That fucking lame guy named John is right. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but that haircut's onto something.
Haircut is right. And for some reason, the people in the movie don't realize that John Cena has told them the entire plot and like not to trust them. But you know, John Cena's great in it. The robots look like the robots, and it's a lot of fun. And I wish I had gone to the theater to see it because it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, I'll have to give that a spin.
Yeah.
That's rad. That's good to know.
But yeah, Godzilla is great. Godzilla needs to be enjoyed with friends who are into it. Audrey we went with Audrey and Kelsey's mom and Kelsey's friend Dan. So it was like all 5 of us, and we were all just like, you know, shaking and stuff. There was like a 4-year-old boy behind us doing running commentary the entire time. We're just like, is that the monster? What's Godzilla doing? And I was there for all of it.
That's rad. Okay, so great. I think that really needs to be what it is. I tell you what, Jamie, can we just go on record as saying if you haven't seen Godzilla and you're on the fence about it and you really want to go, hit us up. We're going to combine together everybody who doesn't know if they want to see it but kind of wants to see it. We'll get a crew of us together, and then one of the 2 of us are going to go, and we're all going to just fucking experience that movie.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah.
Just get a crew of us together. So if you want to go see the movie, you haven't gone to see the movie, and you're like, I kind of want to do it, but the reviews kind of sign me off of it.
Fuck the reviews.
Fuck the reviews.
Yeah.
Let's go do the thing. God damn it. That really does feel like the most apt thing of like you and I having any of these conversations. Fuck the reviews.
Yeah.
Like, just stop it.
Yeah.
Stop letting dudes who look like me talk you out of cool shit.
And
genuinely.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of these reviewers are paid by the word because the flowery language that they use to describe Godzilla, it's just like, come on, man. It's
Jamie, that's just verbal masturbation because they don't have anything else important going on.
We get it. You got a film degree. Fuck you. It's Toho. It's Godzilla.
Yeah. No, I went to grad school, and this is where I get to be able to grandstand. So you're gonna read this shit.
Yeah. So that movie is gonna be fun. John Wick. I feel like it's the same thing. Go with friends. Hobbs and Shaw. Go with friends.
Hobbs and Shaw. Motherfucker, we are gonna get a crew together.
I wonder.
A crew.
I wonder if we could talk to Keith. Like, I wonder how much pull our network has.
To like in a theater?
Yeah, like if we could do a showing. Let me ask him. I should ask him. It's a terrible.
No, don't say terrible. Don't say terrible. That's a great idea.
Okay.
See, this is the idea, Jamie. This is the core of it. Hobbs and Shaw is about family. That's the idea. That's what we're doing. We're expanding our network. We're increasing our family. We're reaching out to loved ones. We're like, hey, we should all go see Dwayne Johnson hang on to a goddamn like off-road tow truck on the one arm and then a helicopter on the other, all swole, just chains in hand, just fucking flexing it out just all day long, just squozing and trying to drag that shit in.
I think as soon as Idris Elba says, "I'm Black Superman," if that does not sell you, there's something wrong with your soul.
Let's be clear here. If that doesn't flood your basement, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, like
because good Lord, like I don't know if anyone can get up. I know I can't get up.
Yeah, like I would knock over this table.
Basements flood, flat out.
I mean, when he said that in the latest trailer, I just fell on the floor. It was amazing.
Yeah. I really I wanted someone to run over and just start fanning me.
Yeah.
Straight up got the vapors.
I mean, Idris Elba, look, this man stabbed a spaceship with a knife in one of the Thor movies and brought it down because he's a badass.
His name was Stacker Pentecost. That name is badass no matter what the fucking accent is. I can have Bobcat Goldthwait come in here and rumble his way through Stacker Pentecost and you'd be like, that's still kind of fucking sexy. Yeah. And then he rolls in fucking gorgeous as all he can be in the fucking full military uniform with that thick ass British accent.
Yeah.
And then calls himself Stacker Pentecost. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just heard white noise. You uttered your name and everything else was a fucking blur. So if we could just double back to whatever the fuck Charlie Day was saying, that'd be cool. Yeah. Like, I know it was some important shit. He seems real upset about something.
Yeah.
But I was just gone after that.
Yeah. I just, oh man. Yeah, I'll see what we can do. I'll see if this is a thing that we do as a network.
Fuck yes. Yes. Let's do that.
Plans and thoughts. All right, Brandon Chalmers.
Sir.
We have a topic, and it's something that we mentioned a while ago in passing at the end of a shitty episode, but we pulled it out at the end of it in like 30 seconds. So,
Jesus Christ, are we about to tackle Highlander?
We are about to tackle Highlander.
I love that the first episode on the Nerds of Color podcast network, we are going to tackle the absolute whitest on white shit humanly possible.
Also terribly misogynistic, which is why which is why it needs to be unfucked. It needs to be unfucked.
No, I am here for you, and somehow I don't know why anyone would trust me with this, but fuck it. Let's strap in. All right.
Well, like you and I have seen all of the Highlander everything. Like
Yes.
I've seen all the we've seen all the movies, we've seen the television series, and we know it's awful.
Yes.
But there
well,
are
not all of it is awful, but on the whole, it is not great acting.
Nope. It does not hold up.
I would argue that the television show was of low enough budget that it was never designed to be great acting. It was designed to be pretty good fantasy.
Sure.
Which I think is fair. The first movie I think was genuinely enjoyable, and I think holds up really well and is very cool. The rest of them, especially that one with Mario Van Peebles,
I was about to say
it's real bad.
Highlander 3, The Sorcerer,
is real bad.
And that one had Donnie motherfucking Yen in it.
Look,
and you don't remember it because he got his head chopped off.
Whoa, okay. One, yeah, of course we don't remember because he got his head chopped off. And two, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the one where Mario Van Peebles basically disappeared and then reappeared in places in some sort of weird like water effect or something like that? Because that was the only thing they had the budget for.
Yeah.
Did he have unnecessary dreads? I feel like he had a weird hairdo.
He did. It was a very terrible hairdo.
Because it was like it wasn't like regular dreads or anything else like that. Like it felt like it was like a Billy Blank sort of like high knot dread thing or something like that going on.
Yeah.
Which in the airport that I think he was set at in like 1998 maybe, where he was chasing down Christopher Lambert.
1994, my friend.
94. Okay, even worse. It really felt like it stood out then. And maybe I'm wrong because I don't know when Four Non-Blondes got popular, but maybe. Believe me, sir, I know what the kids are into. We're talking about Highlander. Right. To my understanding, the high knot, side shaved, and like as a dude with an undercut, the idea of going clean around the sides there, and then a high top knot of dreads, which almost felt a little Battlefield Earth of it.
My God, yeah. Oh, oof.
Like,
woof.
I feel bad saying that, like, that weird shaved, like, orb-looking dread look is a real intentional one, but, like, I don't know. Like, it feels like the sort of thing where your only option with that hairstyle is a top knot.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah, it was no good.
Like, you're going for height really more than anything else. You got a real rooster thing going on up there, and I don't know what we're doing it for.
Yeah, he could have gone like early Living Color Vernon Reed style, where it was just a wild ass mohawk with dreads and stuff. That would have been perfect.
I'd have been down with that. I'd have been down with like the full dread, so we could have got that really dramatic like flail sort of thing going on when he was like sword fighting, and then when you got business time, he like took the cloth. Yeah, it'd be like one of Christopher Lambert's friends or something like that had like a shirt or something that he loved, and he like cut off a piece of the dude's shirt and then tied his dreads back.
Yeah,
like a Pokemon style like Ash Ketchum sort of thing.
Yeah,
where
shit's
like,
about to go down. Yeah.
You know what it really is? It's fucking God damn it! What's the dude from Bloodsport who steals Jean-Claude Van Damme's buddy's bandana and then wears that shit to fuck with him?
Chong Li or something. Chong Li.
I feel like it's Chung Li, but I feel real fucking terrible assuming it's Chung Li because
it's Chong Li or something.
Chong Li. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's almost what I'm looking at.
I break you. Like I broke your friend.
Yeah, like he cuts the head off the dude, but he happened to wear like a turtleneck or something like that. So it's like this one piece of cloth, and he like shakes it at Christopher Lambert's face.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it. Could we get a little bit of that? Maybe?
Well,
something?
So we need to fix this.
Okay.
And I feel like
what are we fixing?
Well, everything is getting a remake. Everything is getting a reboot. And I feel like Highlander is due for a little TLC to bring it up into the new millennium.
Do you have the original? I assume we're talking about original Highlander movie.
Yeah. I think we just need to not do a reboot of the franchise, just restart it, kind of like
Right, but we're talking about essentially doing a very similar, like, it doesn't have to be a shot-for-shot reboot, but I feel like it's important to almost stick on that because the first Highlander is the one that they kind of nailed, and it makes sense to do that one for a new audience. And I think almost very similarly to like a Batman movie where the 89 Batman and the Christian Bale Batman are very different origin stories in a lot of sense, but essentially they have the same sort of thing going on. Where I think it would be important to have the Highlander. I think it'd be important to have some sort of mentoring figure, whether it's Ramirez or whether it's actually Christopher Lambert as the mentor figure. And I think it's important to have some sort of villain that is overarching over the thing. I think for a placeholder's sake, I'd like to assume the Kurgan. Because Kurgan's probably the best Highlander villain.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
because I don't remember any of them in the subsequent movies, and the only reason I remember Mario Van Peebles.
Right. Yeah. We remember Mario Van Peebles for being so bad.
Well, also, it's the name of the movie. He was the sorcerer. All the other movies are called Highlander Endgame, Highlander Search for Vengeance, Highlander The Source.
What was the one in the
Quickening.
future where they rode some sort of like weird frisbees or some shit?
That was Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So when we initially brought this up, you and I threw out Becky Lynch as our lead character.
Yeah, we were talking about doing a female lead of this sort of thing, and we were thinking Becky Lynch because we were going to stick with the idea of it actually being the Highlander.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask a question. Are you married to the idea of the naming franchise being the thing, or do you think that the subsequent concept of the idea of someone who is immortal, who has a history, who needs to be guided through this whole thing to then be able to be followed through time is strong enough in and of itself that you don't necessarily have to have Scottish or Irish background?
I think, well, okay, it's hard because this conversation does not exist in a bubble for you and me. Like, we're not new to this franchise. I think if you were to call something the Highlander to people who have never seen this, and they would look it up on IMDb, they would be like, oh, this Highlander is about a Scottish guy. I personally don't give a shit.
Right. But what I'm getting at is, do you think that the name recognition of Highlander matters?
Not at this point.
Okay. And that's really kind of where my head is it's like, because it tiptoes into other things where it's like we are now getting into essentially a historical time travel piece without actual time travel. It's more of we're kind of waiting out history at that point.
Sure.
So it begs the question then, because we are going back in that sense and we're not using, let's say, Irish or Scottish descent, where do we go? Where is the centerpiece of all of this? Like, how does that work? Do we have a traditionally Asian character and then guided by some sort of like, I don't know, immortal Christian missionary sort of thing where we get a bit of culture clash, but it also provides a legitimate reason of why some dude who doesn't necessarily fit belongs in this culture?
I kind of like that idea because there was always hints of that in the main series. Like, Ramirez is a Spanish conquistador who shows up in the Highlands of Scotland to teach this French guy about how to use a sword. They end up in New York. So and he's using a katana. Like,
right.
And
yeah.
And so there was a underlying international clash of cultures thing going on there. And I think if we center on that and make that explicit, I think we'd have a new thing to say with this new series.
Oh, okay. So then I start to ask certain questions along with this, because the original Highlander movie, let's take into account of what it is, because it was created in 1986.
Yes.
So I would like to, for all intents and purposes moving forward, say that they made questionable decisions on some of the casting, probably a lot of the casting, and some of the things that they did as far as appropriating culture and basically just making a lot of stereotypes because it was the fucking 80s and this is just kind of what they did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to unfuck whatever they did.
Yeah.
I asked the question of how do we navigate that now in reasonable context? Like, where do we go with actors? Where is the culture at? What sword do they use? Like, do we stick with a traditional style like Japanese katana? Do we set the thing in feudal Japan? Do we set it way later in Japan? Do we set it somewhere else? Like, where's the idea? Because I feel like if you're going to set the thing in Japan, feudal Japan makes sense to me just because I think it's a comfortable shoe for a lot of audiences who don't necessarily know a whole lot about Japanese culture.
Sengoku period. Woohoo!
So like it's an easy thing for everyone to understand. Mm-hmm. And no one who, at least most people who are watching this, are going to question whether or not certain artifacts or certain contexts or certain this or that will actually belong in this period.
Yeah.
So
I think we follow the sword.
Okay.
I think we follow the sword because that even was it Connor in the movie in the TV series or Duncan? Connor or Duncan?
Connor was in the movie. Duncan was in the show.
Okay, Duncan had the katana.
Right.
Don't know why.
Right, but they both had katanas.
They both had katanas.
One had a dragon. One had a lion, I believe.
Yeah.
On the hilt of the actual sword. So like they were both kind of like. To near as I can understand, because I think they like briefly touched on it for like a half second.
They were both
like,
weebs.
Yeah, like it almost felt like one of those things where it was like they summered in Japan to just kind of fuck around and hit some strange and then like move on. And like they both were in a market somewhere. It was like time to ditch these bulky fuck swords and just huck them shits out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I swear they ended up doing something super fucking corny. Like they asked the blacksmith to like make the katanas out of the same steel that their claymores were made out of. Some bullshit.
Why would you do that? The claymores.
Because you want a shitty sword. I don't know. Like I just.
But yeah, I think we follow the sword, and I think you could actually. I think it would work better as a TV series if we're following the sword because you could start off, in the Sengoku era. And then you could follow.
You could really do that you could absolutely do the sword through a TV series. You could. Mm-hmm. I think you're almost dragging it out a little too long in that sense. I think that's a 6-minute montage, man. Like you show the blacksmith creating the sword, hand forging it, talking about like there's like the narrator kind of setting the tone for everything where you talk about the importance of a sword and what it means to its warrior and what it means to this or that, yada, yada, yada. Uh-huh. And you see him forging everything and putting a ton of work in it, yada, yada, yada. And then you see whoever the fuck the random guy is who's going to be our Highlander, which almost in my head, I've already taken this off the rails where I'm like, okay, so here's like Chris Pratt in like middle of nowhere Japan just buying a sword because he thought it looked cool and then inadvertently gets stabbed in like a duel, finds out he's immortal, and then suddenly decides I gotta put this thing to use. And then we're off to the fucking races.
Oh my god.
Which is a terrible concept. Like it's a great comedy. It's a terrible Highlander.
Yeah, movie. I don't think I want Chris Pratt in this. For reasons.
No, I get that for reasons, but I was trying to think of like goofy motherfucker who has no business buying a Japanese sword other than he thinks it looks cool because that's what most dudes who look like Chris Pratt buy Japanese swords for.
Yeah, but I like the montage idea. I like the sword, following the history of the sword. The warrior where it ends up. Right.
So then the blacksmith gifts it to somebody. It was commissioned by somebody, whatever the reason, it has history there.
It's got to be commissioned by Nobunaga because he's this crazy son of a bitch, and it was during the Warring States. And I think we could go way deep. We could have him give it to Yasuke, like the only black samurai.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so you could have Yasuke being the owner of this sword, commissioned by crazy ass Nobunaga.
Who is Yasuke played by?
Let's see. I'm partial to Idris Elba.
Okay.
Always.
Can we come up with an alternate?
We got a John Boyega. He would be good.
He feels a little too fun to me if we're going to take this thing relatively seriously. He's a little too comedy relief.
Anthony Mackie, maybe?
Same issue. A little more serious, but I still feel like same issue.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson is Yasuke.
No, too much. Too much.
Yeah,
yeah, like maybe so let's assume Idris on this because I think you may have just hit the nail on the head.
The guy who
He's
plays
the Highlander.
Oh yeah. The guy who played Omar. Oh god, what's the actor's name?
Oh shit, hang on. I'm on it. Omar. As people were like, what the fuck? How do you not know this?
I know. I feel bad. I'm a terrible person. But like I like Yasuke, and Yasuke has been coming up a lot.
Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams as Yasuke, owner of the sword.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so Michael K. Williams plays the actual Highlander. It's only in name recognition. Mm-hmm. We don't actually really talk about it. Like,
yeah,
he just kind of shows up. Wait, are there Highlands of Japan?
There's got to be. Every place has a north.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like they call him the Highlander.
Yeah.
And I know we're like shoehorning the name recognition of everything, but there are some nerdy fucks, admittedly, probably the same dudes who were bitching about the race of a stormtrooper, who are probably going to be like, hey, how should we name the Highlander because it's a thing? And then I'm really upset about this, but fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So let's stick with the name recognition. Let's assume that Michael K. Williams is from the North. Mm-hmm. He's playing the first African American samurai.
Yeah.
And he
African samurai.
African, sorry, my apologies. Becomes the first African samurai, gets struck down, and then after he realizes what happens, gets back up, and then has to come to grips with equally not being struck down and the shame of that, and also coming to grips with everything that happened. So he's got a moral and a spiritual dilemma, and as well as the supernatural aspect of him coming to grips with the fact of like, can I die? What's going on? So him like almost like I see a very short, like almost Groundhog Day sort of thing where like he cuts his own hand just to see what happens. Yeah. I don't know if it's comical enough of like cutting his own arm off, but I could very easily see him like taking a small blade and like carving it, like running it across his palm and watching his palm seal back up.
Yeah.
And then kind of have this realization about what's going on in his world right now.
Yeah.
And then realizing the burden that he's been laid with. So then who shows up to help guide him through this?
I think it would be some douchebag missionary.
Okay, so we're back to douchey white guy managing everything.
Or either a douchebag missionary or like some monk in the hills, or maybe he goes to China and he finds like a Shaolin monk takes him under his wing. Because I liked the idea of Highlander being sort of an international movie where these immortals move from place to place to place.
So here's where my thought process is. Do you think that it sounds weird to say? Do you think that China is far enough for the lore of an African man who got back up off a battlefield to be able to not spread far enough that he could be safe and be able to actually be trained, or does he have to go farther? Does he have to go to like I don't know,
India
like
or Nepal or something like that?
Yeah. Does it like how far does he have to go before the story of that doesn't follow him along? Mm-hmm. That like he stands out a ton there anyway.
That's true.
Is there a bit of like trying to figure everything out?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he ends up in like Thailand or something.
Okay.
But yeah, I like him kind of moving around Asia and then finally ending up in the European countries, so we don't have the white savior thing going on.
Yeah, like that's kind of where my thing is, because like I don't know who I would want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I think or doesn't need to be a guy. Like I'm trying to think, and admittedly, like you talked about, we are so used to the Highlander being the Highlander that we're both kind of seeing Sean Connery right now as Ramirez.
Right.
And recasting the Ramirez role with another actor that equally makes sense in everything, but also doesn't make sense. Like, I wonder if there's like some sort of elder Bollywood star or something like that, where it's like we go completely out of everything, where I'm not recognizing someone. And maybe you're right. Maybe we keep with the more, we go with like China or something like that, where.
Yeah. I don't know enough Bollywood actor or actresses, but I think Michelle Yeoh would be an amazing elder teacher.
All right.
Because goddamn, she has the acting chops. Like, I know you don't watch Star Trek, but she's on Star Trek and she's fucking amazing on that. And she barely kicks anyone's ass. And when she does kick anyone's ass, it's amazing. But she would be a great stern teacher, like, teach this motherfucker how to do things and stuff.
So take me as a moron when it comes to the culture. How would she in that time period be of a position where she would be respected enough that she could necessarily be running a crew of people? Is it like a crew of like ragtag thieves because she'd be an outcast because she would be a woman in power at the time? Or is it the sort of thing where women have the ability to be respected in a religious setting? Like, where are we at here? Because to my understanding, most cultures at the time didn't respect women in general.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how she works given the timeline of everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he's going to bail on Japan because of everything that would happen, we're talking months, maybe a year at most, with him traveling, trying to kind of keep his head under, like himself out of trouble before he lands at the doorstep of somebody.
Yeah.
He should have been dead and didn't die. And then she recognizes what he is, and
they
then
have the quickening. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she recognizes what he is and that he needs a bit of help. And like, it's the only thing that I was leading back to, like the religious thing, because in the Highlander, for anyone who hasn't watched it,
holy ground.
Churches are holy ground, and holy ground is a safe place where they don't actually fight. So if he ended up showing up on her doorstep and she's running some sort of, monastery or something like that, where she's basically bound for peace, it would explain why she doesn't fight, but also why she would treat him with kindness, and also why she may actually make the quote unquote mistake of training him.
Yeah. I think I don't know enough about Chinese
do you think
culture,
do you
but
think it matters?
I don't think it matters. As
All
long as we do it with reverence,
That's
like,
fine. I'm good with that. So let's assume then that she's let's say the elder. You know what? There it is. They normally wouldn't. They know how old she is.
Yeah.
She's ageless.
Yeah.
She's timeless. And they continue to get older, and she makes loose reference of knowing him since he was a boy. So he got to basically grow up, and she hasn't changed through the 50, 60, 70 years that he's been on the planet. So now all of the guys who are there respect her greatly because they understand that she has an immense power about her.
Yeah.
Throws away all of the other bullshit. It allows her to be in a position of taking charge of a situation, and then in turn puts a situation where she puts Michael K. Williams on his heels, essentially.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got that.
Sidebar, do we give a shit about the Watchers? Because they became a thing in the series, but okay.
I think that is some genuine bullshit from the TV show. So because here's my thing. The idea is they fight to be able to stay alive. They fight to be able to gain power. We've covered who our main character is. We've covered why this person is in a position of peace and protection and why they would feel the need to protect others. She lost her husband or whatever the fuck it is over the quickening or some bullshit. It has to be some sort of thing where like she fell in love and then some dude showed up because he sensed her, and she, like, her husband tried to defend her honor, but she, he wasn't prepared properly and he was struck down, and she ran to the temple, and essentially they protected him, or they protected her, they killed him, and then she ended up getting the power of that dude, realizing what she was, and then it's like we could basically like I think we could solve it in a basically an explanatory montage. It would also educate everyone in the audience who doesn't quite understand what's going on. Michael K. Williams would catch him up to speed on everything that's going on. Yeah. And it also gives a bit of reverence of like why she has been in the monastery ever since. Mm-hmm. So she has power because they managed to help her strike down a rather strong immortal. So therefore she has a lot of power almost accidentally. Yeah. So she's trying to come to grips with the guilt of all of that and her husband's death. And she feels responsible for it, but it's not actually her fault. And yada yada. Like, it creates character depth and everything that's going along with it. So then my real question is, who's the Kurgan? Mm-hmm. Because we need someone strong and interesting. Because in the regular Highlander movie, it's quite possibly Clancy Brown's greatest role.
He was amazing.
And for anyone who's following along and doesn't know who Clancy Brown is, he's the voice of Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. He's been in a ton of other stuff. He was in Starship Troopers. He's a mountain of a man with a super deep voice, and he shows up essentially looking like a punk rocker with a claymore. Mm-hmm. And it was terrifying and funny and rad. I don't know why my Roku just started up all of a sudden. Sorry about that.
But yeah, he was such a great villain.
Yeah, like he was an outstanding villain because he'd be terrifying and psychotic in 1 minute, and then he'd have these throwaway one-liners. Like it felt almost like nowhere near the same acting chops as like. And I know I'm making a fucking stretch. Somebody's going to roll their eyes at this. At like Heath Slater in Dark Knight, but like he was so fucking all over the place by comparison to the rest of the cast, where it's like Christopher Lambert can't really act that much. He can kind of whisper dramatically. Mm-hmm. And like Sean Connery is just chewing scenery. And then next thing you know, like Clancy Brown's like riding around in some like Ford sedan or something like that. He's got pins in his neck. He's like jamming out to something, and he's just grumbling his way through scenes. And then he shows up and he just delivers lines in the most terrifying way possible.
Oh yeah, we need someone with that.
There's got to be somebody with just a fucking voice, like. And this is my problem is I'm so married to the idea of the Kurgan was terrifying because I don't know whether or not this is true because it's been years since I've seen the movie, but I seem to remember a scene where like you saw like the silhouette of him and he had like the sword dragging on the ground and you got to hear his voice in like some sort of weird sewer or something like that. Yes, like everything felt wet and it felt echoey and it was like hell was coming. And he was coming with it, and you knew it, and you questioned everything that was about to happen.
God, who can?
And I don't know
that?
Who has that voice right now, who's kind of terrifying and is imposing and has that ability to kind of be that person.
I think fan favorite Jason Momoa.
Too kind. Too sweet.
And that's the problem. He's too much of a nice guy, so it would be a stretch to see him as a terrifying evil fuck.
Yeah, I just like honestly though, his voice is way too sweet.
Okay.
Like he spent so much time being the like lovable axe throwing guy that just like total fucking basement flutter that like I can't view him as scary imposing guy. Like I need something else. I don't know what it is.
Dwayne, do you think Dwayne could do it?
No, because here's the thing. I don't necessarily won't do it. if you're immortal, I don't think you actually have to be gigantic. Mm-hmm. I think you have to be skilled and capable. But I think having a distinct enough voice has to matter in that sense. Oh, like if you'd have been like casting this in the 80s and I had never known who Clancy Brown was, I'd have been like, well, let's get fucking Michael Ironside because he's a fucking 10.
Yeah.
He's not a great actor in that role. He's not physically imposing, but that voice is a fucking 20.
Ian Michael Shane.
Okay, so you want to cast older in that sense
because he's got the voice.
He does have the voice. He definitely has the voice.
And I could believe him killing a whole bunch of motherfuckers.
Is it wrong to say I could actually see Patrick Stewart in this role?
Ooh.
You get an incredibly distinct voice that you actually recognize.
Yeah.
That instead of having grumble and fear, it has gravitas and tone. Right. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen until the time comes, and then they're out in the market, and you hear him off in the distance, just slowly laughing or something like that. And
yes, so good.
You see them look back and see him, and he stands out like a fucking sore thumb, and he does not give a fuck.
God.
Because he has such presence, and he doesn't need to worry about it. He just very calmly, he's there. Mm-hmm. He knows that there's no one in this market who can touch him. He knows there's no one around who can hurt him. He knows that he cannot be fucked with.
Yeah.
And he's creeping death. All he has to do is wait you two out. Yeah. At some point along the way, you're going to feel like you're cocky enough that you're going to be able to stand your ground, and that's when he's going to strike.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm in for Patrick Stewart. I like that. I like that.
Because the reality is, I think the CG, we can fix the rest of everything, I think, with enough, supporting actors and stunt people and everything like that. Like, the fight scenes, it's totally fine.
Sure.
If we can get, what the fuck was his name from the first couple Star Wars movies, the prequels? Play Count Dooku. Anyway.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we're terrible nerds, but yeah.
That's fine. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
But he looked great.
If he can be believable as an elder statesman who's also incredibly capable with a sword, the idea of Patrick Stewart being capable with a sword or being capable with a knife, because imagine if we get this thing where Michael K. Williams is like, I got this, and Michelle Yeoh goes, you're not ready, and her stand off against him, and them go to fight or whatever it is, and her think that she has him, and goes to swing and take his head, and he dick, just all of a sudden just knife right through the bottom of the chin, and then just whispers in her ear, not good enough. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take your pupil. And then draws back, takes her head just in the main fucking square.
Yeah.
And then has the quickening in front of everyone. And you watch Michael K. Williams' genuine fear as he runs for the monastery.
Yeah.
And you watch the other guys suddenly start showing him everything he forgot. And you just basically see Patrick Stewart just kind of standing outside.
Yeah.
Just waiting and waiting and waiting.
And the great thing about that fight is that Michelle Yeoh, because she's so good as an action star, she can make anyone look good. She can sell anyone, she knows how to make anyone look amazing. Like in Star Trek, again, she's fighting a dude who clearly can't take her, but she's selling it, she's making his weak ass punches look like they actually hit. Right. Perfect.
But that's the beautiful part about this context is that he doesn't have to be able to physically beat her up. He has to be able to best her in a sword fight.
Yeah.
And therefore, having skill and smoothness and just everything that is Patrick Stewart actually works in his favor in a weird way.
Oh, man.
Where if he got her by some smarmy means of another blade she never saw coming, and then takes her head, he not only kills her, he kills her without honor.
Yeah.
And it's just fucks everything.
I had a thought about that too. Her husband getting killed, maybe it's a young Patrick Stewart who didn't know the rules. He kills him on the steps of the monastery.
Oh God.
And
he breaks the rules and ends up, oh my God.
He's broken the rules, and
he's come back to finish the job.
Yeah.
He thinks he's there for Michael K. Williams. He sees her, realizes he missed his chance.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Because if we establish the rules and then break them, it heightens it a little bit. I know it's movie making 101, never to break your own rules, but we break the rules, and that just heightens his evil and duplicity.
I'm good with any or all of these options. Like, I think the idea is if we're going to end up making the villain kind of I don't know, this very like clean spoken kind of guy, I want someone with enough gravitas. Like, I don't know if Patrick Stewart may necessarily be the right guy for it, because like even as we're talking about it, I'm still not in love with it because I never picture Patrick Stewart as being vindictive.
Ooh, yeah. He was in another movie where he played a white supremacist.
Right, I know that.
And it was terrifying.
Right. I know he has the capability of being terrifying, but just like this vengeance sort of thing that comes from him, I've never seen him have before. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't get his best friend Magneto's kind of like crush them while they're down kind of mentality. Like, I don't see that in him. So I think that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah. I think he'd be great at it.
I think he would too.
Yeah, just let him say, Patrick, go as evil as you can.
Yeah, we just show him the Crow over and over again, and then the dude who does the impression, like if we could just
bang, fuck, I'm dead.
God, I fucking love that impression. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so to double back, we set it initially in Japan. We moved then to China or Tibet. More importantly.
Yeah, we could do Tibet.
Okay,
yeah.
So we moved to Tibet. We have Michelle Yeoh play the Ramirez character, and we have Patrick Stewart play the Kurgan.
Yeah.
And we end up having this multicultural clash. We end up having an elder statesman basically kind of bring a bit of gravitas with everything. We kind of cover all our bases. I don't even think the plot's necessarily bad. I think we can just kind of switch it around a little bit, especially for the first one.
Yeah.
And it essentially becomes a kicking off point of like, how far do we follow Michael K. Williams? And then we could move it to a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't fucking watched it, I think it's on Netflix. It's called Hap and Leonard.
Okay. It's
Michael K. Williams and some other dude who I cannot remember who looks like Thomas Jane but isn't Thomas Jane. It's a comic adaptation of their story. It is super fucking good. Cool. Like, just real good. And it covers like two buddies who are friends in the 80s who are kind of down on their luck with some dumb shit, and it tackles kind of a whodunit, and tackles a lot of awful racism, and it tackles a lot of like really cool friendship stuff, and just it's a really good thing. And Michael K. Williams plays, I believe it's Leonard, and does an amazing job, and you should all totally watch that. It's fucking rad.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I think you should, like, you all could really enjoy it. I think there are 3 seasons out on whatever streaming service. I'm pretty sure it was Netflix who had it. The seasons are only like 6 or 7 episodes a piece or something like that. Like, they're not terribly long, but they are very good.
That sounds awesome.
And it definitely hit my wheelhouse because Christina Hendricks is in the first season as Hap's ex-wife. And
okay, I'm in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm in.
I pull no punches. Yes, ma'am. So.
Yes.
So, yeah, Jamie, I don't know if we hit the nail on the head, but I think, like, in the world of remakes, I don't really feel bad about this one being a remake. And I think we may have, I don't know if we've improved it, but I think we've modernized it enough in a way that, like, we've gotten away with not feeling tropey to me.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of interesting twists and turns and different takes on stuff. I want to see it now.
Yeah, I at the very least, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm there. Like, you know, fuck it.
Yeah,
maybe in the second one we get Becky Lynch.
Okay, I'm good with any or all of these things. Like, we can just bring in all sorts of shit like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we just bring in like a bunch of random Next Generation actors into the second one, like the bad guys.
Dorn.
Like,
yeah,
it's like Michael Dorn or Brent Spinner or whatever it is. Like, we just bring in Riker's the fucking bad guy in number 2. Like, you just
love it.
See, yeah.
I love it. Yeah. That would be great. All the bad guys are just next generation.
Just next generation guys. Yeah. Like, oh, God damn it.
Number one is there to
Oh, motherfucker. That would be so good.
LeVar Burton with a sword. I love it.
Yes. 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 Fucking LeVar Burton. Oh, my God.
Read this, Rainbow.
Oh, my God. So good.
Yeah. All right, Brandon. I think we did it.
Yeah. I'm good with this, Jamie. I wouldn't even mind if we like almost broke the fourth wall and it's actually LeVar Burton as the bad guy. Not even like the actor as a character. It's legit him.
Yeah, it's just him. He's like, I'm sick of this.
It's just right. It's just him. He's been slowly working his way through Hollywood, just taking motherfuckers out, just striking some bitches down. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Brandon Chalmers, where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram, because fuck all the other stuff. At that guy Chalmers. Where can they find you, Jamie?
You can find me here, Jamie Noguchi on Instagram, Angry Zen Master on Twitter. If you have suggestions or comments, you can email us at info@fuckingdoitcast.com. I don't have the password, but I am the system administrator for our backend, so I can log in that way.
So in turn, he can get it. And more importantly, if you have complaints about the Fucking Do It Cast, be sure to hop on Twitter at SendTedCruz. Let him know what's going on. Just be like, fuck those guys and their Highlander remake.
Yeah.
He cares, so he will be there to field any and all questions.
Yeah.
Be sure to be belligerent as fuck.
Oh, yes. And thanks again to Hard Knock Media for hooking us up. We are very happy to be part of the network, and I hope we don't ruin it.
Yeah, me too.
Like I hope
really worried about that, honestly, but that's okay.
Like I hope our quality doesn't bring the rest of them.
Just gonna squash that on down. That's super good. All right.
All right. Bye.
Later. Bye.